Well, more so last year. Not really as much this year, just because, you know, it's been a little more time. Last year was very different. So, you know, I've known Will a long time. He was a young coach at Auburn when I was at Alabama, and then he was at LSU. We kind of crossed paths over the years, and always liked Will. I've always thought he's a tremendous football coach.
When you go back 2 years to Deshaun tearing his ACL, having it basically be a secret that he was going to play that game here 2 years ago, where does that rank on the list of Watson moments for you?
Right there at the top. That's how I started my press conference after the game. I was like, you guys don't understand what we just saw. It was unbelievable. I mean, I just was really blown away the entire game, and how he played and competed and performed. I mean, it was spectacular. I mean, it just definitely. I mean, he's had some unbelievable moments. I mean, that guy. It just becomes, you know, everybody's expectations of him are so high. You know, it's like Michael Jordan. You know, he shows up, he's supposed to drop 45 on you. You know, all of a sudden he shoots, he gets 20. It's like, what's wrong with Michael Jordan? You know, he's kind of elevated himself here at Clemson in college football. Because he's had so many unbelievable moments, so many great plays. But that one right there was certainly special. And plus, you know, we hadn't beaten those guys. We've done a lot of great things around here, and a lot of great success, but that was obviously a bad run for us in achieving that goal. We hadn't done a great job with that goal. And he was a freshman, and you know, that was a great moment, and you know, got us back on track in this series.
As he prepares to move on to the NFL, whenever that is, what does he learn about himself because of that scrutiny, those expectations, like the Jordan thing you talked about, that he's held to that high standard?
Yeah, well, I think he's better suited to answer that than I am, but I just think that, you know, he's just learned what matters, what doesn't matter, what to focus on, what not to focus on. You know, you can learn a lot through success, but you certainly can learn probably a lot more through some failure. So he's had enough of that along the way to continue to grow. But he's well prepared. Obviously, the platform that he's had here at Clemson, the type of success that we've had, has exposed him to a very high level of scrutiny, exposure, all that. And so I think he's learned how to balance, you know, and stay true to who he is and not get distracted by things, and that'll be very important for him as he continues his career.
Did you guys learn anything about this rivalry last year when you come in #1, undefeated, they're a 3-win team going nowhere, and that game was a football game throughout the fourth quarter?
Absolutely.
It was in doubt. I mean, on paper it says you guys should have blown them away. Did you learn anything about this rivalry in that game?
Yeah, well, that's why I always tell people we don't play the game on paper. You know, that's what Coach Stallings used to always teach us. You know, if we played on paper, the coaches would show up and walk to the midfield, you know, and look at his X's and O's and his X's and O's, and the crowd would ooh and ah, and the ref would declare winner. You know, it would just, you know, or we just listen to the media or whoever, and we need to play the game. You know, you just get a winner declared. Now that's why you play them. Games not decided on paper. Yes, you can look at it and say, okay, well, this appears to be the best team, but as we all know, the best team does not always win. You know, you got to play well. It's the team that plays the best. That's what makes this game so exciting and so much fun. And then you throw in the fact that you have a rivalry game. Anything can happen, and we all know that. I don't think we learned that last year. I think you know, everybody knows that. You get in games like this, there's a lot that can happen. Anybody can beat anybody. We've seen it a million times over the years.
A few years ago, when Deshaun Watson declared that when he got here, he would not lose to South Carolina while he was the starting quarterback, what went through your mind? Were you thinking, or?
I didn't even know that. I learned that from y'all. So, you know, that was a good goal for him. Nothing wrong with having goals. And so far he's been able to live up to it. So hopefully he can live that dream out.
What do you think back to your victory over USC when you were an interim coach? What kind of stands out to you the most? Do you kind of consider that win maybe the last deciding factor that kind of got you this head job?
Oh, I don't think there's any question about it. No doubt about it. I remember, first of all, getting ready to go to the hotel, and President Edwards was literally wheeled out on a hospital bed to see the team off. It was unbelievable. And I remember it was a kind of a cold, kind of cloudy, seemed later than it was type of a game. But I just remember the spirit of our team and how hard they played, their will to win, and the crowd, at the end of the game. It was a special moment for me, and there's no question. I mean, we don't win that game, I'm probably not here. I mean, maybe. Terry Don Phillips has some guts. I don't know if he'd had that kind of guts. But it was unbelievable. And very thankful for that group of seniors, because those guys. That's what was special about that team is, they really bought into. Hey, it's how you finish. That's what we control. It's always about what's next. The best is yet to come. The rest of your season is the best of your season. The rest of your life can be the best of your life. Let's buy into a different way of thinking and attitude. And those guys did an unbelievable job, and played their hearts out. We finished 4-2 those last 6 games, and that was certainly the game that kind of got us over the hump, and it got us bowl eligible. We weren't going to a bowl, so it gave us an opportunity, and it was huge for me getting the job because it gave us a bowl season to prep and to get some things in place for spring practice, to get some of those young kids an opportunity to continue to kind of sow some seeds and develop our culture a little bit, even though it was a very chaotic situation all the way through January.
Remember last year you were asked at your press conference about the booster circuit being easier because you're coming off a win against South Carolina. Over your time here, has that sort of magnified itself that even in those years where Clemson would win 10, 11 games but lose to South Carolina, how much that meant?
Yeah. Oh, it matters. I mean, there's no question. I mean, I will say this, even when we lost, the Clemson people were great. I mean, they really were. They were always very happy to see us and kind and respectful. I mean, they all in their own ways that they don't. Some of them don't really have to say anything, but we all know that it's very disappointing if you don't win this game, because again you're gonna live with it regardless of whatever else goes on. But through that, I'm thankful. And again, those were really good teams. These were 10, 11 type win teams, very good football teams, and they earned those games and beat us. But we also did a lot of great things, and I think I think our fans are educated, and I think that they recognize where we were heading as a program. It's not like we were winning 5 games and that type of thing. We were not getting it done on that particular day, but as a program we were moving in the right direction. And so our fans have always been great, but there's no question when you win that game, there's just a little different smile on people's faces when you show up. There's no doubt, especially those people who live down in Columbia.
This senior class, the chance to match a couple class records this week. How key has that group been to this team's success?
I mean, this is just an unbelievable group. I mean, it's well documented what they've been able to do, and I guess this would be a 45th win. Is that right?
46.
This would be a 46th win, which I guess ties the record, and then they could break it in the postseason play. But I mean, it's incredible. I mean, it really is. I mean, these guys are. You just look at. I mean, they finished. Ben Boulware, since he came here, I mean, he's been on at least a top 10, top 5, top 15 team. We've been in the top 5 for a long time.
21 in a row.
Yeah.
21 weeks in a row.
I mean, in the top 5 in the country. So that goes back a long way for, you know, these guys. And so they've been impactful people in the community, impactful people on this team. I mean, even when they were young players, you know, you look at the impact that they've had. I mean, they've just been an incredibly talented and committed group, and they're all going to be graduates. Some of them have already graduated. Most of them are all graduating next week. I think all of our scholarship guys graduate next week, with the exception of Seth. He's actually going to work for the Bills in January, and that's going to be his internship. That's all he's got left is his internship in the spring, and then he'll graduate in May. And we got a couple of our walk-ons that will graduate this spring as well. But all of our scholarship guys are going to be graduates. What they've done academically, the academic success that we've had, 6 out of our last 7 years, we've been top 10 in the country. You know, last fall in the run that we had, you know, we had 48 guys make a 3.0 or higher. This senior group is obviously a big part of that. But the thing about this group that makes them so special is they're the first group that has the experience coming back into when we started in the spring. No other team I've had, no other senior group had an experience of a run like they had in 2015 to draw on. You know, we'd had some great seasons, but a college football playoff, a national championship experience, you know, it's, as y'all have heard me say, it's one thing to think about it, dream about it, but when you experience it, it's a whole different level of teaching. And these guys kind of bottled that up. And our spring practice from day one of our meetings in here, the leadership, the accountability, this has been an easy football team. I mean, easy football team to coach. Just no drama. Guys just incredibly coachable, and then how they've managed, because a lot of people think we're this old team. We're incredibly young. I mean, our football team is way majority freshmen and sophomores. So, you know, we don't have many juniors on scholarship. We don't have many seniors. We've got 13 scholarship seniors, and that counts Teasdall, who came here as a walk-on. That counts Seth Ryan.